Eroge Reincarnation. Please don't collect Big Sis CG. Prologue. Now, I would like to begin the strategy meeting on how to complete the best route for this Eroge. I gripped my fist tightly while declaring this loudly. Right in front of me was my 2-year younger brother, who had just become 18 years old, Dean. He had the same chestnut brown hair and blue eyes as me, but due to the long bangs, you could barely see his eyes. Although I told him several times to cut them, according to Dean, bang-covered eyes were, apparently, the identity of the protagonist in an Eroge. Indeed, he was the protagonist of this Eroge world. About 5 years ago, I realized that I, Alice, had reincarnated into this game world. It was when me and Dean, who just 13 years old at that time and was capable enough at wielding a sword, went together to a nearby forest on a monster subjugation job. Dean's equipment consisted of a bandana on his forehead, a cheap-looking leather breastplate, gauntlets, and a short sword equipped at his waist. With those long bangs that hid his eyes. No matter how I looked at it, wasn't he the protagonist of that Eroge I played in my last life? Ain't this the Eroge? It's not my fault for accidentally letting that out. It just when hearing that Dean's jaw dropped wide open as he made an idiotic face. Big sis, just now, you just said Eroge. I did. Did Big Sister also? No, it couldn't be. Dean mumbled quietly while looking my way. Dean, could it be you knew something about this world being an Eroge? When I questioned him while tilted my head, Dean nodded his head and began talking about how he realized that he had memories of his previous life. 5 years prior, the moment Dean saw my equipment when I'm heading out on an adventure, he also realized that I was a character from an Eroge. Eroge that his older sister from his previous life played a lot. To think that Big S Eyes was also a reincarnator. No, more importantly. Why? Of all places, did we have to reincarnate into an Eroge? A fucking Eroge. It was important so I said it twice. Eroge. It's a game where this and that kind of thing will happen to a girl. In short, it's a lewd game. This game that I seem to have reincarnated into was, for an Eroge, an unusually high difficulty for orthodox RPG, but it had the conventional fantasy settings of tentacles, slimes and orcs, with a plethora of erotic events. And the protagonist's older sister Alice was no exception to that. Rather, on the other hand, for someone who wasn't a capture target, her treatment in the game was terrible. But there weren't any Ahegao event for Alice, right? And so as I recalled my past memories, I turned to look at Dean. Nevertheless, to know about this game, could it be that Big Sis was a man in your previous life? I get what you're trying to say, but too bad, I was also a girl in my previous life. I do think I was an otaku though. Surprisingly there are those kinds of girls too. My sister, the one from my previous life, was also an otaku that I thought was disappointingly unpopular with guys. Oh, what a coincidence. In my previous life I also had a pathetic little brother who was an otaku, a lunar, and a virgin. The two of us exchanged glances and somehow fell silent. What is this? Quite frankly, all I have is an unpleasant premonition. Big sister, excuse me but your name in your previous life was Eno Yuri. Seriously. I watched the figure of my younger brother as he held his face in his hands while shouting, with an unexpectedly calm look in my face. No matter how I look at it, this guy is definitely Eno Yuri's little brother. It's sister. For that Alice to be my previous sister. It's no good. Little Dean, can't get up on this. It'll wither. That last bit was a staggeringly bad statement, little bro. I understand your feelings, but with what kind of eyes were you looking at your blood-related sister in this life? Now that I think of it, lately the number of my underwear hasn't been matching up, don't tell me it was you. Leaving my small underwear troubles aside, Dean, who clearly feel very conflicted about our situation, keep rolling around on the floor. Even in this life, he's such a deplorable child. After a while, after his feelings had settled, Dean sat on the floor and spoke. What is Big Sis gonna do? At this rate, you'll be attacked by a giant octopus, have your body searched by bandits, have a slime melt your clothes, and the Demon King will. Don't think I'll let you keep running your mouth. Having taken the full brunt of my axe kick, Dean crouched while quaking with tremors. Well, he basically already said everything. I cleared this game several times, of course I know how Alice will end up. Despite being a mage, Alice had a high defense and was an easy-to-use character, so I've enjoyed seeing her events several times while playing her. But now things have changed. Any perverted event that can be avoided, I would like to avoid it with all my might. But I don't know, it could be that there's a driving force or correction system in place for this world. Well, for Slee, with this little brother as the protagonist, will this world be alright? While gazing at Dean, who was still crouching while at his wit's end, I thought, God of Eroge, your personnel selection was quite mistaken. And so, let us return to the strategy meeting from the beginning. The objective is definitely the true ending. I absolutely will not let Sophia-chan die. Ah, that's right, you've always been Princess Sophia fan from way back when. Well, to begin with, on all the other routes, Dean will end up becoming the king, so even if we reach the ending of the game, it feels like the country will go to ruins after that. For reach this game's true ending, player must make Princess Sophia your ally before subjugate the dragon, demon king, and evil god. In the other routes, where you only take down either the dragon or the demon king, it will lead to the endings of one of the other heroines, and Princess Sophia fated to die while the hero protagonist will succeed the throne. It's impossible for this musclehead little brother, oh god of Eroge. And it would weigh on my conscience if I let the princess die even though I had prior knowledge of the event. Big sis, you thinks that I'm an idiot, don't you? Of course, I think that you're a musclehead. Stop saying that with a smug face. My little brother was grumbling some complaint, but let's ignore that. For now, I don't want to needlessly spread out the distribution of experience points, so let's only make the characters necessary for completion of our companions. Also, let's avoid Alice's arrow events. Yeah, as one might expect, I wouldn't want to see my real sister moaning and saying something lewdly. But, who is it again? To have that silver-haired character become a companion, we have to do one event. Silver hair, I can't remember his name. He is a male character, so I probably had no intention of remembering his name before. I feel like I was always just calling him Silverhead. It's true that he was a necessary character for the true end. He was actually a half-brother of the princess born from another mother, and work as a knight for the kingdom. Silver-haired knight, he was a handsome man that gallantly appeared in the Alice is Entangled with an Octopus game opening event. His introductory event was a fixed event, but it was optional to add him to the party. If we're aiming for the true end, we will have to add him to the party in order to raise Princess Sophia's point at her introductory event. In other words, I have to be entangled with an octopus. Big sis, I'll try not to look, so good luck. Hey, don't treating it as someone else's problem. It's alright, the octopus is just gonna stroke you on top of your clothes, right? And Silverhead will come to save you too. Once he comes out, I'll quickly take it on the octopus together with him. I'll definitely save you. Suspicion welled up at the sight of Dean's unusually earnest and fevered persuasion, but it is true that since it was an opening event we probably can't avoid it. So it's okay, maybe. This event should only be about as sensual as some scene from a juvenile boys magazine. If I properly wear some extra clothes at the time, I won't show a shameful side of my body. Oh, how I want to curse the me that held such naive thoughts at that time so much.